How many of you have been fired? Show of hands. Okay, because I was afraid it was just me. Okay. So in 2014, I finished grad school and I got an amazing opportunity in a big city at a large international PR firm. And about 6 months after getting that role, I was fired. And I went through all of the things that folks typically go through, the embarrassment and the shame and the sadness and the self-doubt and the frustration. And that's typically what we go through when we feel that we failed. Luckily, it didn't take me long to rebound, a few months. And about a year after that rebound, I landed at an organization that I've been with for the last 5 years. I was recently selected to serve as the executive director of that organization. I am the first person of color in that role and the first Black woman to serve in that position. But 2014 was an inflection point for me in my personal growth and development. What it required me to do, as often happens when we have a setback, is to be introspective, is to understand what works for me. And in this process and in that journey, what I developed essentially was this foundational aspect, if you will, a toolkit, lessons in leadership. And first, it really started off as how I wanted to be engaged and invested in as an employee. And over time, it developed into what I would call a leadership vision, how I wanted to show up for myself and others if given the opportunity to lead. So there are 5 lessons, or my 5 nuggets, as I call them. The first is creating opportunity. The second is building trust, giving grace. The third is building your own personal board of directors. The fourth is advocating for self and for others. And the fifth is seeking growth. Now, this sounds really great, but with all toolkits, you have to have a really good toolbox, and that's a foundation. And that foundation for me was getting in alignment. And what getting in alignment looks like, typically, we say, is all the things that we want, right? It's the blue sky. But it is equally as important to know the things that you want as it is to understand the things that you don't want and the things that don't work for you. And that's what I was able to do in this process, is to get in alignment and understand what worked for me. What environment could be created so I could thrive, and hopefully help create an environment where others could thrive. So the first, after you get in alignment, after you build your foundation, is creating opportunity. Recently, someone shared with me, when opportunity knocks, have your bags packed. When opportunity knocks, don't say, wait, let me go pack my bags. Be prepared. As I shared with you, I got an opportunity after I rebounded, and that opportunity was in Montgomery, Alabama. I was living and working in Chicago, Illinois. Illinois is my home state. And if I could have told you how many people told me not to come to Montgomery, Alabama. But I knew what worked for me. It was important for me to be in a space with historical context that impacted this country and the world, to be a part of something greater than myself, to be in community. I had to know what worked for me. I had to acknowledge what opportunity I could take on. And that's what I did. The second is building trust and giving grace. Building trust comes with intention, with consistency. It's not a flash in the pan. And how that translates into the workplace is creating synergy, cultivating people, understanding what it takes for them to expand. And when we stumble and we mess up and we fall and we skin our knee, to make sure that you are accepting people with compassion and understanding that those falls and those stumbles are a part of the greater process and a part of our personal stories. That part is the grace. The third piece is building your own personal board. Now, it's critically important to understand that this board should be composed of mentors and sponsors and people who are going to hold you accountable. Find your tribe. Find the folks that are going to tell you honestly the things that you don't want to hear. And sometimes it will come with kindness, and other times it may seem a little harsh, but it makes our back strong. It fortifies us. It allows us to grow. I've been so fortunate to have great folks on my personal board in the formative years of my professional career. A vast, diverse group of individuals. But the Black women who are unabashedly honest with me, who show up for me, who tell me honestly the things that I need to hear, who invest in their communities and their families, they are the critical aspects of the board for me, and I am eternally grateful for them. The third piece is making sure you advocate for yourself and for others. Now, in this time of socio-political shifts, where we are understanding what advocacy means and what allyship means, we must first understand how to show up for self, how to ask for the things that we need, and to get clear on those things, to understand how to navigate and shift. But first we must, as always, be in alignment with self. And once we're able to do that, we can speak up for ourselves, and we can speak up for others when they are not in the room, boldly and ambitiously, because that is how change happens. Now, the last and final piece in all of this is seeking growth. Langston Hughes writes, "Life isn't always a crystal stair, and we will have our own set of challenges. We will have setbacks, we will have obstacles, and sometimes it will be difficult to navigate those things. But in all of those things, they are growth spurts. And in every growth spurt, you get to a different level, and you can see a little further. Understand that all of this is part of the process of getting in alignment, of learning your lessons, of creating your toolbox, and the essential things that place you exactly where you need to be." Thank you.